Hi everyone, welcome to Colorbar. I'm Kim Updike. I'm here with Betsy Davis.
Hey everybody.
Good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Very nice to see you. So I'm super excited about today's episode. So as you and I have been talking and doing these podcasts, it's been marketing, brand building, creating content, everything, how to connect, how to create word of mouth. And, we've been doing it for several episodes now and just, talking all things brand. And then one of the things that we were talking about and thinking of is, hey, all brands start with an entrepreneur. They start with an idea, a lot of blood, sweat, and tear equity for most of them. And I went out to Fort Worth to visit my good friends, Jennifer and Brian Keita, who have entered on this entrepreneurial brand journey themselves by creating Union, Cycle, and Strength. And I just thought it would be interesting to get the perspective from, we deal with mature brands, but there's a whole segment of entrepreneurs and small businesses that are brand builders, and they have to kind of go through all the steps that everybody else has to do. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of have a conversation about their journey, what got them excited and started, and what they're seeing as far as how to drive traffic, how they engage with social. Jennifer, they are fantastic on social media. It put me to shame. Most people do, but they definitely do. And so just kind of wanted to introduce them. So hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. First of all, shout out to Texas. Lived there for a long time, but a ton of my friends in Oklahoma are also entrepreneurs. And so we talk about this journey that we're about to talk about with you guys all the time. So really excited to have you guys join the conversation today. So thanks for joining.
I filled Betsy in a little bit. I told her that I've known you both for several years, probably close to 8 now, and that I met you in Fort Worth, met you at Cycle Studio, and and that I had read that you guys that chapter was ending and you were kind of figuring out the next part of your journey. And I told Betsy, I reached out and I was like, okay, Jennifer, this is Kim. I used to take your class. I'm the one with all the dogs. I wonder if you'll remember me. I would love you guys would be perfect to create your own brand. I couldn't think of anybody better. So I was like, if there's anything I could do to help, let me know. And so I will kick it off to you guys to kind of tell us your story and how you got to where you are. And we'll interrupt you with questions.
Well, like Kim said, it was just like almost exactly 2 years ago. We were on a family vacation, and I knew that our current studio that I was just an instructor at, I had no partnership in, was closing, and I just didn't feel like that chapter was over. I love teaching. I love teaching indoor cycling. It's a passion of mine, and there's still nothing really like us at all in Fort Worth. And I just thought, okay, I really want to do this, but I've never owned a business before. I don't even know anything about running a business. Oh my gosh, how do I do this? And so recruited my husband, and so the story goes basically like she said, we kind of sent out this goodbye email to all of our clients, and I guess Kim, you were on that email list. And as soon as she emailed me back, I knew exactly who she was. We saw a group of us after my class would go get coffee together and hang out. So I can't believe you would even think I didn't know who you were. No. So, she's just so lovingly offered her services, and she was like, do you need a logo, whatever you need? And I was just like, I don't even really know what we're going to be called yet, but I know that costs a lot of money, and I would love your help with that. And if you're willing to do it, I'll take the help. We were open to anything.
She kind of had a vision for the logo, kind of like a color palette, kind of like a look and feel. So we kind of worked together to kind of really establish a logo. But I think the thing that was great when we kind of saw the logo was like, okay, this is it. But it creates a certain sense of, there was like an energy and an authenticity and something that we felt like would be easily recognizable
right
in the marketplace, and that it would translate. So we felt like it kind of had legs too. Like we could see it on apparel, we could, see it in signage, we could see it in print, we could see how you could use it in social media. And so, their journey it kind of launched from there, because once we saw something visually, more so them than me, but it was like, oh, this is really going to happen.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing, but this is really going to happen. And so just wanted you to take us a little bit on the new journey, as far as, I know when I was out there and we were talking, you were like, no, we've talked to other studio owners, we've talked to other business owners. Everybody said that word of mouth is the best thing. Well, how do you create word of mouth?
By wearing it.
By wearing it.
Yeah, no, the marketing component of it is what is super interesting to us. And we've been talking on Colorbar about all the different channels that you have to be able to now reach to be able to get the word of mouth and to get people to recognize Union. But just thinking about the very beginning steps of that from a logo perspective, but then to be able to see, I could see it on social, I could see it on apparel, I could see it in print, and so you're already having to think through all the channels. We talked about content on another episode and how you have to have content and pushing that out there, but you also have to have a recognizable brand. And it sounds like, Jennifer, you're a huge part of that brand too. And so also being able to, kind of go to market with you being a brand, but now creating this logo in this space. Kind of what was that journey like, recognizing that, man, now I've got to tackle all of these different components?
Yeah, no, so when we first came up with the logo, like so much of what I do and what my other instructors do is provide unity in our space. And that's why the name Union was so important to me. After going through a lot of different names, Union was always the thing that kind of stuck out with me, because what we do in there is it's a rhythmic-based indoor cycling program. So everything we do is to the beat, and we ride the same. We do choreography together. And so there's a sense of unity, not only in that, but also we're coming into the space, into the studio. We're all coming from different walks of life, but we have a common goal that we want to get something out of these 45 minutes. And everybody has a different, goal, but at the end of the day, we all came in together to pursue those goals, whether they be individually, but we did it as a group. And so when that first logo came out that Kim had designed, I was just like, because of the way the colors come together and they morph in with the letter N, and it symbolized so much to me what Union was going to be about, and that was just keeping people together, because our world is so diverse and sometimes so fragmented. Yeah, it's probably a better word. And so just being able to have something that draws people together, and that's my goal really and Brian's goal for this logo is to really bring people together in that way, that they see that and they think of unity and they think of togetherness. And I can think of a lot of other brands that I've been inspired from that do that very well. And so just figuring that out, like we're still on that road to figuring that out. It's a new realm for both of us. And so I just getting to that first logo, the drawing sketch that Kim did, and then coming up with the colors, like it all just kind of morphed into this beautiful thing of what I felt like was unity, even just between Kim and I coming together and figuring out, what is this supposed to look like? Okay, how about this? Oh, not that color, but how about this color? What if we tried this color? So it was so fun to create that with her.
Yeah, so it's so interesting because one of the questions I had written down for you, because we were talking earlier today about, you watch and see brands that have millions and billions of dollars to spend on marketing, the Nikes of the world and the Starbucks of the world, and you see them doing all these amazing things, and then you look at yourself and go, I probably need to do that, but how in the world? And so one of my questions for you is are there brands that you are watching and being inspired by and trying to figure out how to incorporate those little nuggets that you've learned from them into your own experience from a cycle perspective or in the environment that you guys are creating there at the gym? Who are you being inspired by right now?
Well, I think first of all, the power, this whole journey has shown me the power of a logo. Like that in and of itself, it like, I don't know what it is about it, but mentally and emotionally, when you see it, you're like, it makes everything real. It's like, oh my gosh, we're now a real company. I don't know. It's like, because without the logo, you're just this idea. And then you have this logo and it becomes like this concrete thing, because like you said earlier, then you can vision it on apparel. And then to your question is like, is there a company that we look at? I don't know that there is a single one, but the philosophy of a brand becoming and exuding sort of like, or reflecting a lifestyle, becoming itself a thing, that's what we sort of have been thinking about this, because we wear it around and like there are people like, so we had a first round of merch made, and I had a hoodie, and I'm a musician, and I went to a rehearsal, and I don't know, 4 of the band members saw my hoodie and were like, that's so cool. I want that hoodie. Where can I get one? You know? And it's just like, because I'm wearing the logo, they know my personality, they know all that stuff. And so you're associating a design with certain philosophical things, which I think is so powerful. And that's the part where she and I are like, okay, well then now what? How do we take what's in here in this studio and project it out?
Well, and for me, just to also answer that question you just asked, that's the logo "Life is Good." Are you familiar with that? Where it's like that. That to me is such a sweet is the first word that comes to my mind. It's a sweet way to bring people into common things that people do outside. You know, like it's just, and it's happy and it's, you know, engaging. And so that's one of them that I look at that I think is really cool. And then I would say Aviator Nation was a big inspiration for me.
Thank you that you said that, because I was going to say it for you, that's immediately who I thought of. But when you were explaining the brand, they came to mind, not only because of the logo, but it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Yes.
To your point, Brian, it's a lifestyle, and there's an energy behind it, and there's a youthfulness, but a community behind it as well. And so I'm glad you said that, because I definitely got that vibe.
No, definitely. Or as my dad would say, it kind of reminds me of the Astros, the Houston Astros.
Yes. I don't know how you guys feel about that being from Fort Worth, but yes, perfect. Go Stros.
Not my intention, just so we're clear.
Too funny. So yeah, but then I think even with it being a lifestyle brand and that kind of being the direction that you're going, which it totally has that feeling and connection. But talk a little bit how you're also kind of incorporating that even into the space, because I feel that what you all have done with the space has really kind of, and for me personally, it was gorgeous, but kind of, I think, transforms how you think about, you know, it's not necessarily a gym. It truly is like a community that you are walking into. And while you happen to be at this community, you can do certain things. You can take, you know, a strength building class. You can do the spin class. You can do a combo of the two of them if you're crazy. But there's even like a place to hang out. And just the energy that you've created, even the building that you guys did, I feel like you've transformed just going to work out. It was definitely a place that you wanted to go and hang out and get healthy too.
Well, and I'll just add to that really quickly, because one of the things that we've talked about a ton, and we're talking about it with our current clients, again, the big brands that we're talking about, but this new trend and what everybody's kind of asking for is this new immersive environment and this very kind of experiential environment where you're not just going into shop, I'll use as an example, but there's a moment and you feel like you are at home, or you feel like you've come into a space. And so when Kim was talking about what you guys are doing, I'm like, they, again, as a entrepreneurial startup company, they're already practicing some of the things that we're seeing from these larger brands. So yes, would love to hear more about what your thought was when you started to create the space and how you want to continue to evolve that.
Well, for me, like you were just talking about how places you want them to be more than just the space. Like I think first thing that came to my mind was coffee shops and how much they have evolved into being more like homes, you know, with the couches and the lamps and all the things. So people don't just come to have a cup of coffee anymore. They're coming to like really embrace the moment. They're going to be working there. They're using it as their office or a place to catch up with a friend. Like it feels like I only go to coffee shops really if I can that feel intimate like that. And so when we created Union and we were designing this together, that was a big part of what we were thinking, like how can we keep everyone together and provide unity by creating a great community. And so the only way, in my opinion, you can do that is creating enough space where people can linger longer after class, a space where they can come and not feel like they have to rush out the door because it's a big crowded place and everybody's moving to get to their spot, you know? So, and that even goes with like Brian specifically, he can talk more about this, but like the lighting, we were very snobby about lighting because I do not like, neither one of us liked fluorescent lighting. And so I wish I could take the monitor and like show you all around. But like the lights were very important to us. Even
I just
in the
wrote
bathroom.
down, get pictures of the space, and we're going to incorporate it
Yes,
into the podcast. I definitely want that. And now that we're sitting in a studio like this, I understand the snobbiness of lighting. Like I wish I could walk around with this kind of lighting from the studio around me all the time.
Yes.
so I get it.
And nobody looks good in fluorescent lighting. So that would have had to been the
Zero.
first. No one looks good in fluorescent lighting. So that would have to go regardless. But yes.
Yeah, we really like as far as the philosophy. There were like for us, there's like core values, right, for our brand, for who we are, because really this is like an extension of our actual home, where it's like we're the owners, we set the culture of the house, and for us, a huge part of that culture is that this place has a really strong sense of space, and so because when you create, and this is from my experience. When you create a place that is special, people just want to be there. And they can maybe not even articulate why, right, specifically, because it's the sum of all the little details, right? So like you mentioned earlier, like how are you using the logo throughout? Like this right here is like, boom, like that's so vibrant, and that's a very strong pop, right? And that's right behind, like we're sitting on our front desk, like so when people walk in right now. But like little things like our bathrooms are super high end, like all the finishes. We bought a scent machine so that, you know, like when you walk into the Westin Hotel or whatever hotel around the world, it's luxury, you have that signature scent. Same here. Because we want people to walk in and be like, man, I just love being here. You know, and so all the lighting and everything and all the feels all the time, really, basically.
Well, like you said, it is all of the sum of all of the little details that you guys have focused on and made sure didn't get lost. Definitely noticed your lighting. Yeah, the bathrooms are like super high end.
I'm totally coming to Fort Worth and I'm doing a spin class.
You should. And the use of natural light. They have like these huge windows that actually can open up when the weather's nice. So you kind of have like that indoor-outdoor mix that you can kind of play on, you know, to kind of tie into this. I mean, you literally can open up to the community. So it's a very cool, special place. And like I said, it's kind of transformed how I think people would, you know, look at fitness space.
Well, and we were talking about it earlier today, again, around a brand and having this cohesive message. But Brian, you even talked about the people that you have working for you, and they have to be able to exude that same. And so it comes into not only the logo, but the space, the scent, the sweatshirt that you had on the other night at band practice, the employees that you have that are engaged, your instructors absolutely are a continuation of the brand. And so I think this is just a really good example of having that cohesive brand, that cohesive feeling that anybody that engages with Union immediately thinks of. And I think that, again, is what everybody's trying to accomplish. And, you know, it's going to be interesting. We've talked about, we want to continue this conversation.
Yes.
With Jennifer and Brian, as you guys, you know, a year from now, what does this look like? But I mentioned some of my friends are entrepreneurs, and one of my dear friends opened her own salon, and now she's going on year 2, and she's like, how do I keep the momentum of the same energy that I wanted when I started? How do I continue to do that? Because now I'm expanding my space, I'm expanding my team, I'm doing all of these things, but I still want to stay really true to what my initial vision was. And so how do you do that? And I think as everybody continues to grow, to be able to stay true to your core values that you just mentioned,
They have to be scalable.
they have to be scalable.
Your core
And I
values
think
have
we
to be
always have to
scaling.
come back to, you have to come back to who do we intend to and set out to be, and ensuring that you're always doing that is kind of one of those touchstones that you have to come back to. Okay, I have a question. What's freaking you out the most? And I'm going to go back to marketing because this is kind of what we talk
That's
about
just what
all
we
the
talk
time.
about. Yes.
But when you think about that word of mouth and growing the business, what's the part that's kind of freaking you out the most, or that you're really trying to figure out right now?
How to get people to come in the door. Like, we've spent so much emotionally, not just financially, but like emotionally, there's so much of us invested in this. And now it's like we have members who wonderfully signed up for memberships, and there's several of them, lots of them, but they're not booking a class. It's like, I'd love to take your money, but I also really want to be with you. Like, that's the whole reason. And we're in this area that's kind of really starting to get more ramped up and busy. Like, there's hundreds, lots of apartments with hundreds and hundreds of people in them around us. And so, I can send out the email to the manager of the apartments and say, here's a free class offer, a discount code for all of your tenants, and please send this out. And they're like, yeah, I will. But then you never hear a word from any of them. And it's like, what do I do? Because that's the part that's starting to kind of like, okay, I feel like I'm doing my due diligence, but why aren't the people coming? And so I would say that's my biggest thing right now.
So you talked about emails. Can I ask a little bit about what other, you talked about your personal social presence. What other things are you guys thinking about from a marketing perspective to get the brand out there? I immediately think of, well, has she done any direct mail? Are you doing any out of home marketing from a signage perspective or anything around the Fort Worth community? What else are you guys thinking about doing from a marketing perspective?
Yeah, we definitely will. As we get a little bit more income, we're going to start doing some more print type stuff out and about. But for us, we're really heavily relying on people that come here to spread the word, to write us a Google review, because apparently those are a big deal. So we've got a lot of those going on, and they're all great and amazing. Also, the other thing I'm realizing is, because people love our merch, what a powerful marketing tool that is. And so it's like, the thing about merch is great is that it's like a double-sided benefit. Like, we get money from selling the merch, but it's also like literal walking advertising all around town to all the people that we interface with. And so really, that's why we're like right now amassing this big merch order for our grand opening on the 10th, because I'm realizing, gosh, man, like people are excited when they see our stuff and they want to wear it. And they're not just buying it to help us out. They're buying it because they like it, which means they're going to wear it, which means eyeballs are going to be on our logo. And so that, we've done a couple street festivals. So we just did one last Saturday where we set up a tent.
Basically like a pop-up. We've done a couple pop-ups. And then I have done some email blasts. We have this huge list of emails from our previous studio that we were able to acquire, which was unbelievably amazing. Like thousands.
Tens of thousands.
A lot of them bounced back, but like we've gotten a big chunk of them. And so we're actually working on I have a girl that's helping me with marketing. And so she's going to do a couple of email blasts for our grand opening on the 10th. And then also just the Instagram consistency, stories, grid, and then Facebook. And then working on flyers just to kind of leave at different businesses in the area.
Yeah, that whole user-generated content we've been talking about as well. So to your point, getting people to leave the Google reviews and post on Instagram and have the video moments and pictures of themselves wearing the union gear. I mean, I'll tell you, so if anybody knows me, they know I love a trucker hat moment. They know I'm usually in a ball. So I'll get your deets after this, and I will be purchasing a union hat, and we'll be sporting it. We'll be sporting it around Tulsa. But yeah, so it's in the pop-up shop. We actually just had a conversation on one of our last episodes talking about trends that we're seeing in the retail space and people that are starting brands, and the pop-up shop moment came up as a real opportunity for emerging brands. So love that you guys have taken that approach too.
Yeah. As we kind of start to wrap up, any takeaways or things you learned that you caught you off guard or weren't expecting, or biggest takeaways from this experience so far?
Well, I think for me, just, when we decided to be sole business partners together, we had a couple of offers from other people wanting to be a part of this. And I just felt deep in my heart, like, this is not supposed to be anyone else but Brian and I. And it wasn't out of a selfish, we want all the money or anything like that. It's just like, I literally felt like that was the only way we could really achieve our brand, is by us doing it. And I felt like, obviously, that we were somewhat capable. we're
hope so.
we're learning every day.
Yeah, we are.
But yeah, I think that's been the biggest, probably great thing for me in this experience. Is a lot of people would say going into business with your spouse is not a good idea. For us, it was a fantastic idea. I think we complement each other really well. And, he's really good at all the build out stuff, and I'm good with the other admin stuff. I'm not that great at it, but I'm getting better at all the admin stuff and picking out the instructors and doing auditions and stuff like that. And so it's just, we've complemented each other well. That'd probably be my biggest takeaway. What about you?
Just the difficulty and the never-ending nature of the entrepreneurial journey. It just never stops because you're always thinking of something. You're like, I got to do this. What if we do this? And then because we obviously live together, it never stops even when we go home. And so sometimes I'll have to visit. I'm like, I tell her, I'm like, listen, we're done. We're so done. We're done for the day. This, whatever it is you're about to say, whatever idea, Grant, let's jot it down. We will talk about it in the morning. We're so done. My mind doesn't want to think about this anymore.
I literally feel like I'm sitting here having a conversation with Chris and Aubrey, who are two of the entrepreneurs. She has the salon that I mentioned. I feel like I'm having the same conversation, but again, we're almost out of time. But one of the questions that I did have, and I think all of it, I wish I had it too sometimes, what are the resources that we wish were out there or that could help us almost with the how-to guide to get word of mouth out there? I know that a lot of my friends are part of entrepreneurial groups, EO groups and YPO groups, and have other people to lean on that are kind of experiencing the same things and are learning from each other. So yeah, it's like what other resources are out there to help us all go through this journey of trying to build our businesses.
Absolutely. And to Brian's point, I mean, you are constantly, it's tough to turn off, because it's your brand, it's an extension of who you are, and you are the one who's passionate about moving it forward.
Right.
So I get the fact that it's kind of tough to turn off sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like your child, and you don't stop talking to your kids at a certain time. Okay, I'm done with having kids right now. We're not talking about kids. Because this is like our little baby. You have to care for it. And hold it.
And to your point earlier, that's actually the fuel that gels the whole thing together. That and the fact that she and I work so well together because we are symbiotic in the moving forward of our brand at every single point. We're just our brand is so solidified, and we know what it's about. We know what it's not about. Almost more importantly, And so it's just one of those things. You were talking about the like help for entrepreneurial stuff. We had the fortunate blessing of being able to meet with many, because we have a lot of friends who are like entrepreneurs and like very successful. So we've met with many of them. Hey, can we buy you dinner? Hey, can we buy you lunch? Da, da, da. Just tell us what not to do. Tell us what are the mistakes you made. Tell her, it's so crazy because this guy who's building this massive development, literally one block from over here, 320 high-end apartments. We're friends with him, and his main takeaway was, or like at the very end of our breakfast, I'm like, all right, so summarize, like, what's the one thing? And he goes, parking. Make sure you have parking. And I was like, it was such an non-sexy answer, but I was taken aback. I was like, what?
Well, sometimes it's the non-sexy answers that mean the most.
I wanted to talk about marketing. It's like parking.
Parking.
Parking is what we really need to be talking about here.
Which we have, so that's good.
Yeah, we have a whole lot.
Okay, so before we wrap, grand opening is,
It's going to be fun. We have a taco truck coming. Just confirm that.
see, making it an experience.
It's got to be an experience.
Making it
Well,
a reason for people
more
to come.
tacos equals more rides.
Yeah, more spinning. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I just had this thought. Like, I'm actually going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this weekend.
You should totally come.
Oh my gosh.
If I have a moment on Saturday morning, maybe I'll come do a class
Come
You
to a
should.
class.
I'll give
You
you all
should.
the information.
At least,
and come
like,
buy some merch.
if you're around, you should at least just come see the place because it's awesome.
Well, thank you guys, Kim.
Nope. I'm just, like I said, I thought when I was out there and talking to them, I kind of said, you and I both love brand journeys, and they're starting one that they're super passionate about. So I just thought that it would be fun for all of us to go on the journey with them and kind of even share best practices or stories and
Parking.
parking. We know that parking is important, but just the journey of it and of itself. And I just love the passion that they have for it. So I'm super excited for their success.
Okay, so we basically just signed you guys up to come back
You have to come back.
and do this again with us and keep us updated on the progress and anything that we can do to help. Would love to.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
Great.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having
you.
us.
Absolutely.
Happily.
All
Thank
right.
you.
See you guys.
All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's so fun.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
I mean, it is fun. Like I said.